Lovejoy, my favourite indie band at the moment, just released their full-length debut album, One Simple Trick, and I'm loving it. After starving for almost 2 years, we've now got 11 new songs that brings the total song count up to 36. So it's time to rank all 36 of Lovejoy's songs. So a bit of an introduction on myself and my relationship with Lovejoy. You can skip to this timestamp on screen if you don't really give a shit, and I can't blame you. So, who am I? I'm Kingrave. I make F1 videos on my other channel and I love Lovejoy now. But it wasn't always like that. I was there on release day of their first EP, Are You Alright, back in 2021, but that was mainly because I was following the Minecraft scene and everyone was talking about Wilbur's new music project. I took an instant liking to One Day but started to fall out of interest with Minecraft and Wilbur around this time and didn't really follow the band's progress. And while I did see Pebble Brain come out and listen through it, I didn't really fancy any of the songs on there and quickly forgot about it. Then in May 2023, my friend tells me to listen to Wake Up and It's Over, and I liked Portrait of a Blank State, but that was about that. Then, cut to February 2024, Wilbur gets cancelled and I go back and listen to some Lovejoy to see if they were actually good or not. And turns out they were pretty good. I find out that I absolutely love 80% of their discography and had completely missed the boat while listening the first time around. I don't know what I was doing. Maybe it's because I was a bit older and before then I hadn't really been into indie music, but I had now found my new favourite band. But then I'd wait 6 months for a single song and then another year and a bit for their full-length album. It's been a wild ride and I'm one of the latecomers, but I'm well and truly on board now. So let's get into the rankings. And remember, these are my opinions. I'm gonna disagree with some of you here. So let's argue in the comments. Death threats are allowed. Starting in 36th and last place, we've got Tomorrow from the acoustic EP of Are You Alright. Yes, I'm counting these in the rankings, and no, I'm not counting the live performances of any unreleased songs or any snippets the band have ever released. But about this song, it's just an instrumental, and while it doesn't sound bad, I'm not putting this one on the playlist anytime soon. In 35th, we've got the Cause for Concern acoustic version. The original version's main appeal is the trumpets that are center stage and the echoing of the song title in the chorus, for me at least. And you're going to hear about that song a lot later. And in this, it's got neither of these, because it's the acoustic version, duh. So for that reason, it's going low. But it doesn't sound bad musically at all, and that's the great thing about Lovejoy, just not my cup of tea. In 34th, it's the One Day acoustic version. We'll be out of this pit soon, don't worry. Simply put it, this song doesn't really work in an acoustic style. The vocals are better here than in the original, however. In 33rd, we've got the Torn acoustic version. The vocals on this are really nice, much better than the original, and the acoustic elements actually make the song flow a lot better than the original. I do quite like this, but because it's an acoustic version, I can't really place it that high. This is Lovejoy, not Milky Chance. In 32nd, we've got the final acoustic song, Sex Sells. The vocals are once again really nice in this one, and it does kind of work in an acoustic style. And for that reason, it's the highest ranked out of the acoustic EP. I'm just acoustic, aren't I? At 31st, we have Knee Deep at ATP. This one has a fast, indie sounding intro before devolving into a very slow tune. This slower paced tune does sound good and would work well on its own, but after getting me so hyped with a fast intro, it doesn't really work. Kind of feels like post-nut clarity. It speeds back up to intro pace with 30 seconds left, but it just doesn't work for me. But once again, musically sound. At 30th spot, we've got It's All Futile, It's All Pointless. Just like Knee Deep, it starts off very fast before all the momentum is killed in the first verse. All of the instruments we heard a second ago just disappear and I don't like it. The chorus does sound good and all of the instruments come back, but the first verse is so long that it's just past the point of saving. Will's vocals have also been better, especially on the Pebble Brain EP. The intro sounds nice, but the two verses don't work well with the choruses in my opinion, but the sextant mentions are pretty funny. In 29th, we've got It's Golden Hour Somewhere. Like many gripes I've been having so far, this one starts off very quick, but after 10 seconds, slows right down. The vocals are nice, and the lyrics follow that, but did the intro need to be that quick? Especially because after a minute and a half, it speeds up again for about 15 seconds before going back to slow. It just doesn't flow for me, and then it speeds up with a minute to go and I'm just confused what the fuck is happening or has happened in this song. In 28th, we got a very controversial take here, and it's The Fool. I know a lot of people hold this song to a high regard, and I get why, but I just don't like the studio version, because this song live is honestly one of my favourite Lovejoy songs. But back to the studio version, because that's what we're ranking. Remember, I'm not ranking live performances. It just feels like it's missing something, and there's just a lot of dead space in the verses. And then in the bridge, there's more silence. Will's vocals sound pretty bored or tired, and Joe's ad-libs don't sound as convincing as when they're done live. The climax isn't really realized in the studio version, and maybe I'm doing it a disservice because I've heard the live version, but the two versions are just nowhere near each other, and the live one is so much better. No amount of re-listens will ever convince me otherwise. Trust me, I've tried to give this song the chance it deserves, and it just doesn't work. The lyrics are really nice though, studio or not. At 27th, it's Monochrome, the first one on this list from the new album. This is the final track of the album, and it definitely sounds like a closing track. But after a decently quick start, it cuts off and sort of starts again. Just 1 minute in, they start a new song. This song within the song does sound good, but it just doesn't make any sense against the intro of the track. It sounds musically good, but once again I'm blabbing on about flow and a song not flowing. Probably the weakest song on the album, but let me reiterate, it sounds good. The fact it's down at 27th and I still gave it a B goes to show how high of a standard this band's music are, and it's only up from here, trust me. At 26th, we're out of the songs that I don't really like and don't really listen to, and we're into the ones that I do listen to and have on my playlist, and here in 26th, it's Concrete. It's got such an addicting intro, but the first verse just kills the tempo. But once the chorus comes around, it's back up there. But I do feel like this song is a bit all over the place, and Will has definitely had better vocal performances. The second verse flows better, but at this point, is it even the same song anymore? It's just a bit of a mishmash, and it's just all over the place. In 25th, it's Call Me What You Like. This is one of their most popular songs, and to be honest, I do think it's a bit overrated. Yes, the chorus sounds amazing, and I'm not going to deny that, but like with quite a few of the songs so far, I just don't think it flows very well. It goes from a slow tempo to a very fast one in an instant, and it doesn't really work in my opinion. The second chorus comes and sounds good again, but it's like we're hearing two different songs. The bridge monologue does sound really good though, and it's my favourite part of the song, and if the verses were like that, this song would be much higher. At 24th, it's Taunt. I used to really like this one, but the stop-starty nature kind of annoys me now in the verses. And yes, I get why it's like that, but that doesn't mean it doesn't annoy me. And like many gripes I have with Lovejoy songs, it just doesn't flow very well. It's just all over the place, and I mean, that kind of does add a bit of a charm to it. In 23rd, we've got the second song off of One Simple Trick, and it's Deathbox. Will's vocals are the best part of this track, and the verses do sound nice, as do the choruses. I like the inclusion of a synth in their sound, but it just pops in halfway through and doesn't fit at all. It just sounds like they were messing about with it and forgot to cut it out of the recording. So yeah, I'm not really going to be playing this one too many times on the playlist. In 22nd, it's Oh Yeah, You're Gonna Cry. I don't mind this one, and it is a good opener to the EP. It's got an indie/punk sound to it and sounds like something made by The Strokes. The vocals could be a bit better in the chorus, but the fast pace and inclusion of the trumpets do make this song irresistible. At 21st spot, we've got Foxholes. This is going to be another controversial take, I know. I was aware of this song's existence before the album came out, but I think I heard a bad audio quality version and kind of shrugged it off. The vocals are very good, and it's nice and slow before building up to a good chorus. It's not my favourite, but the production does save it for sure. It does sound really good musically. And then the guitar solo sells the chorus. But then we fall into what I'm going to call the pebble brain trap, and it slows right down, but not in a smooth way. Although Will's vocals are great in the verses, and I've eaten all my egg whites is just a funny, weird ass line, it just doesn't flow. The outro is great though, and it's a shame because this song could have been incredible with faster verses to complement the choruses. At 20th, it's Sex Sells. On my re-listen sessions back in early 2024, when I came back to this song, it soon became my new favourite. It's got a nice story and the chorus is pretty nice, but Will's vocals have definitely been better. But it's thanks to the trumpets that this song is higher. I'd say it takes it from a P to somewhere in the A's, probably an A-. In 19th, it's One Day. The first ever Lovejoy song that I liked. I'm gonna be honest, this was the only song I had saved from the band from May 2021 to May 2023, and when it would occasionally pop up on my rotation, I was like, oh yeah, it's Wilbur's band. And then I didn't try to re-listen to their songs because apparently I'd heard them before and didn't really like them. I don't know what I was doing for those 2 years. But about this one, it's actually got a good flow. Yeah, it's a bit all over the place like Taunt, but it's in a better, more polished way. The trumpets also work a lot better than in Taunt, which I'm going to keep comparing it to. They're literally like sister tracks, and I'm not going to hear it any other way. At 18th spot, it's You'll Understand When You're Older. The intro sounds very nice musically. Drums and trumpets at the start, and then the guitar and bass come in at the perfect time. It sounds good, and the pace is kept up well through the first verse. The vocals are some of the best on Pebble Brain, and there isn't a chorus as such, but it still sounds musically good in the breaks where a chorus would normally be. And then we get a full 1 minute outro of banging instrumental that wraps up the song very well. I'm surprised it wasn't actually the closer for the EP, because this would definitely work as a closer. But you might be saying, what do you mean it's 18th? You've waxed lyrical about it and you haven't said anything negative about it. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we have arrived at the best songs in the Lovejoy discography, and we're literally halfway through. From this point on, I don't have many bad words to say about the tracks, and I do listen to them religiously. And it says a lot when this is literally the halfway point of the discography, and I started ranking the songs as A's 5 songs ago. At 17th, we got White Shark Cafe. This song knows what it wants to be, a slower rock song. The pace starts to up after the first verse and into the second, and then comes the chorus. I was expecting a big drop, like many other moments in the album, but I think what we got worked much better for this track. They didn't fall into the Pebble Brain trap, and kept the drop pretty low key, and I like that it subverts expectations, and obviously sounds really good. I really like the outro as well. It wraps up the song very nicely in my opinion. Really well paced and sounds great. At 16th, it's With Rob as My Witness. This was the first single released from the album and the first new music from the band for 10 months. Safe to say, we were starving. I wasn't fully sold on the opening lick or whatever it is, the do 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 do. After the first verse, I was scared that we were falling into the Pebble Brain trap, but the chorus more than makes up for it. The work much better here with all the other instruments together. But then the pace isn't really kept up in verse 2, and while it isn't awful, I wish it was faster throughout. You might be wondering why it's higher than White Shark Cafe, and that is because the chorus is amazing and Will's vocals are superb. It was a very close call though. At 15th, I've got Model Buses. Such a good bass line, and vocals are very smooth in this one. The trumpets on top of the cracking guitars, bass and drums make this one of my favourites from Pebble Brain. At 14th, it's Consequences. A very nice intro flows quite nicely into a slowish verse. The vocals are great in the bridge and everything seems like it's meant to be there. It's not all over the place and the lyrics are also really nice. And kind of foreshadowy, but we don't need to go there. Also, the painfully punctual is delivered so well and I just love it. And the intro is so nice. The production on this song and the whole EP is amazing, and we'll get on to more of Wake Up and It's Over in a bit. In 13th, we return to One Simple Trick with Scoundrels. This one starts off very fast and the pace is kept up well through the verses and choruses, and when that does come in, it sort of acts as an extension of the verse and ends up sounding really good. It's a fast-paced indie rock song and I love the joy when they're making songs like this. The synth actually fits in this one a lot more than in Deathbox, and the final chorus's instrumental and vocals sound incredible. Will's passionate vocals really round off this track, especially as he started off by singing quite softly. Now we're into the S's and we've still got 12 songs to get through. Literally a third of their discography is S tier for me. But at 12, I'm gonna have to painfully put Baptism. Let me just say, 6 down to 12 was impossible to rank, and if I'm being honest, you could put them in any order. I just love them all. This is the opener to One Simple Trick, and my god is it a great opener. It starts with the bass and guitar going back and forth before the track opens up with the synth going mad. The vocals are very nice and it's paced very well. Chorus is smashing and the production is incredible, and after the chorus it breaks down a bit with some very deep lyrics and eventually builds up to a Joe Goldsmith verse. It's great in every aspect and sets the tone of the album very well. Does anyone else also hear the most mysterious song on the internet in some parts of this song? Because that was what got me the first time. In 11th, it's Perfect Blue. I wasn't expecting to like this song so much after hearing that little guitar lick in the verses that sounds a bit like a garage band loop. It really annoys me every time I hear it, but thankfully, it's only in the right headphone so I can just take it off my ear and it's perfect. The verses sound nice, apart from the garage band loop, and that is helped by another great vocal performance from William Gold. But then the chorus, oh my. The chord progression is so nice and satisfying to the ears, and the lyrics are great, with more great vocals from Will. In the second verse, the loop doesn't come back for a few lines, but I can look past it because it's such a minor part of the song. The choruses absolutely make this song, and they are great, and that's why it's ahead of Baptism, I guess. At 10th, it's Common Touch. The intro and first verse are up there with my favourite from the album, but in the chorus, It took me a few listens to warm to the blaring guitars in the background. I just didn't feel like they fit in the first few listens, but after being so used to the sound that played in the verse, it was a bit unexpected. But in the end, I did warm to it, and they sound awesome, and the ending of the chorus is just as good. The second verse keeps up the pace, and the next chorus is great as well. Then the outro is perfect and closes off the song very well. Production, great. Vocals, amazing. Instrumental, phenomenal. What a great song. In ninth, it's Perfume. I think the production could have been better, but man, what an intro. The tempo shift from intro to first verse is a much better executed version of Concrete, and the ad-libs are also gold. The part just before the chorus is a perfect break period before the climax, and then the chorus comes in and I'm left creaming everywhere. Everything just comes together and complements each other so well. The second verse works well and the pace is somehow kept up. It just flows really well and is an example of how many of the other songs on Pebble Brain could and should have flowed. At 8, we've got Scum. It does pain me to put this masterpiece of a song so low, but that's the way the cookie crumbles, eh? The intro doesn't go too fast for itself, and this song is a lot more measured, and its pace reflects that. It's very nice musically and vocally. It's not speeding up, slowing down, and speeding up again in unnatural ways, and is meant to be the way it is. After the 2 verses and choruses, we get a breakdown that goes on for the last 2 minutes of the song. It sounds great throughout, and when it eventually climaxes with a minute to go, it makes it so worth the wait. It simply sounds incredible, and is a perfect way to close out the song. The transitions from slow to slightly quicker and then eventually to the final climax is flawless, and Will's vocals are also so emotive and passionate. This is what the full studio version should have sounded like, and what that song's live version does sound like. At 7th, I've got Warsaw. Once again, I don't know how this song can be so low, but that goes to show how good of a band Lovejoy is. We've got a nice fast intro into a slow verse, but it doesn't lose all its momentum, making the chorus that much better. Will's vocals are great, and the constant Warsaws in the background make this sound so good. And then we get a second part of the chorus that sounds musically great. Vocals could be better for that little bit, but we'll let it slide. From there, even through the monologue, the momentum is kept up and the intro sounds so good. What a great song. In 6th place, it's Normal People Things. I don't know if this will be controversial at all, but hear me out. This one starts off at a very quick pace, and that is kept through the verses thanks to the constant kicks from the drums. The vocals are silky and the production is great. And as it slowly builds up to the chorus with 2 verses, your patience is rewarded with an amazing crescendo that is just so good. Then the momentum's kept up in the 3rd verse, and that carries into the next chorus. Just a very, very good song and an example of how good this band's peaks are. Every instrument slaps, and even though we've lost the trumpets, it's still one of their best in my opinion. So we're into the top 5, and this might be another controversial opinion, but I've got I'll Look Good When I'm Sober in at 5. This was the first song after the small hiatus that the band took in 2024, and it was well worth the 10-month wait. Kind of. It starts off at a slower pace with a very nice guitar melody, and then eventually crescendos into an amazing chorus. Production has never been better, and Will's vocals are very, very nice. The song doesn't fall into the Pebble Brain trap, going fast and then slow and then fast and then slow. This is Lovejoy, not System of a Down, and they absolutely nailed the pacing of this track. It works so well, and the bridge kind of thing sounds so good and so genuine for what Will was going through at the time. He nails that emotion and has gotten a lot better at writing deep songs. The final chorus sounds so good, and it's a shame because this song will never get its flowers. It came at the worst time for the band and has now been overshadowed by the album. So just know this, I love Sober. At 4, we're returning to the roots because I've got Cause for Concern in the top 4. I love this song, and that is entirely because of the trumpets in the intro and the chorus. Although the verse is a bit weak and is just a repeat in verse 2, the chorus with those trumpets blaring are just so unique and so good. You don't hear many indie songs with trumpets, for fuck's sake. Nothing and no one will change my mind on this song. It just sounds so Lovejoy, and that's why I love it. I can't believe I missed it for 4 years. Oh my god, 4 years. It's got the best trumpets on Are You Alright, and probably the best trumpets on any Lovejoy song, period. But now let's move on to the top 3. At 3rd spot, we've got Fatal from the new album. Man, I'd just been listening to old Arctic Monkey stuff when this album came out, and I was not ready to hear this song. As soon as the first few seconds came on, I knew we were going to be in for a ride. You can't tell me this song doesn't sound like something straight off of Favorite Worst Nightmare. I'd probably compare it closely to Old Yellow Bricks. Anyway, the chorus is great, the momentum is kept up from the intro to the verses and from the choruses to the verses. The production is high and the vocals are great. Will definitely sounds like Alex Turner on some of these songs. But then halfway through, like Scum before it, it breaks down, and while I have been banging on in this video about going fast and going slow and then going fast again, this break definitely works and makes the climax at the end of it sound so good. A song with many different elements, but at the end of it, it's fucking catchy and is so addicting to listen to. You listen to it once, and then you listen to it like 5 times after that. I love it. So now we've got 2 songs left, and in second place, I've got Portrait of a Blank State. Fuck. Wait, is it Portrait of a Blank Slate? Blank Slate. It's Portrait of a Blank Slate. Honestly, this song could have been in first, but let me explain why it isn't. I said it in my intro at the start, but Portrait was the first song I had listened to and really liked since One Day back in 2021, and I've liked it ever since. Sure, I've skipped it a few times because for a period it was the only song I played from Lovejoy, but now I could never skip it. It's got such a nasty bass line to open the song and the whole EP, and then the pace stays high in the verse. The bridge slows it down for a few seconds but doesn't kill the momentum. And then there's the chorus. It sounds so good, and Will's vocals are in top form. Production is banging, and the second verse changes up the style a little bit while still sounding incredible. However, there's only one song that beats it in my eyes, and that song is Pay and Display. You could say that it's recency bias, but considering the song has been out since July, I think I would have gotten over it by now if it wasn't so goddamn good. This is one of the best indie songs I've ever heard, and I knew as soon as that guitar lick came in for the first time that it was going to be my favourite Lovejoy song. And it does help that Wilbur really sounds like Alex Turner in the verses. The build up to the chorus makes the drop so memorable, and the production is incredible. The chorus is arguably perfect, and I cannot stop listening to it. It somehow makes its way into my queue on every single car journey I go on, and I could never skip it. I can't preach enough about this song. I love indie, I love Joy, and Pay and Display is their best song. So, what did you think? Let me know down below with pitchforks and torches, and if you want any more Lovejoy rankings, subscribe and like, I guess. I'm not sure what this channel is going to be, but I guess we'll figure that out as we go along. If anyone from Lovejoy is watching this, I highly doubt it, I just want to say thank you for taking the time on this record and making it so goddamn memorable. I haven't been this excited for a new album in like 5 years, and it was so worth the wait. I was dreaming of a vinyl for so long, but after checking the Blank website for weeks, I missed the drop by like 2 days, and so I'm asking, please release more vinyls. I will buy. And thank you very much for watching. I'll see you in the next one, whatever the next one is.